Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance. And take a brief moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone, please take your seat. Verification of notice.
This meeting is being held pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act of 1974, and the provisions of that act. This meeting having been published on the Township newspapers on January 12, 2024, published on the Township website and posted on the Township bulletin.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we do have a promotion of police officer and swearing in. We have resolution number 2024-66. This is a resolution appointing Kapulskey to sergeant in the Mount Olive Police Department. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2024-66.
We have a first.
A second.
We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkett? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Okay. And now we'll swear him in. Who's our new sergeant?
My first time. I state your name.
I, Jacob Kapulskey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
of the office of police sergeant
of the office of police sergeant
for the Township of Mount Holly,
for the Township of Mount Holly,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Congratulations. Let's give Sergeant Kapulskey and his family another round of applause. Sorry, you want to address, you want to have me come?
Real quick, I'll make it short, but I want to thank everybody who was here to support me. I want to thank everybody who supported me along the way. Special thanks to my family and my wife because they put up with me for the longest. And obviously thanks to the town council, township manager, mayor, and everybody behind me as well. So, thank you guys. Train wreck for a couple drinks.
He called me my son, you know, they were at my house all day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my mom. Yeah, free phone.
Let's go out there.
A free phone.
And she just keeps like.
That's not mine. That's not my free phone. That's not my phone. That's it.
Here.
approval of minutes from the May 13th, 2024 council meeting. Do we do first?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 13th.
We have first, second. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Baxter? Yes. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Van?
Yes. All right. Okay, so now we have two ordinances on the docket. This is for second reading, and each ordinance will have a public hearing, public portion for just these ordinances only. Starting with ordinance 2024-5. This ordinance amending the Mount Holly Township Code of Ordinances to repeal ordinance 2017-23, to adopt flood hazard maps, to designate a flood plan administrator, and providing for severability and an effective date. You take comments now? Or?
Yes.
So we're gonna open up. So now, we're gonna open up this first ordinance only to public comments. Do we have anybody in the first row? Second row?
Oh, thanks.
Stone Laraway, 114 Branch Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Can you give a little bit more explanation about what this ordinance really is? Thank you.
The DEP requires towns to adopt the state's new flood regulations, otherwise it'll be at risk of not being covered for flood insurance. So we're just adopting what the state regulations.
So it's a formality based on the state, correct?
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear him.
The state formality that we have to adopt in order to keep our flood insurance
Flood
through
insurance,
the town.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street, Mount Holly. I believe, isn't it changing the flood map, so instead of like a 500-year flood, it's a 100-year flood zone, and in accordance with climate change, so that the flood zone maps have been changed with regard to areas that are more prone to flooding. Is that what the regulations essentially embody?
So Mike, if I could, Mayor, if I could address this.
Go ahead, Tom.
So Mike, these, the maps were developed by DEP, right? And graciously forced upon the township that this is what we're going to, yes.
In terms of floodplain, so in our creek.
There was tinkering with those setbacks and 100-year storm versus spot weather and so forth, yes.
Right, it expanded the
Expanded.
flood zones.
Yep.
And
It
it's gonna
does.
be harder to build closer to the creek.
Very hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's a good thing.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you. Somebody had to answer your question.
Jeff Evers, Meyer to Broad Street. So are we gonna be first the maps as I come over property on the water?
Can you speak up to the microphone?
Jeff Evers, Meyer, 203 Broad Street. Since we adopted this new map of floodplains and flood zones, are you gonna furnish it to the residents that are affected by it, since I own property on the water? And if there's setback changes and things like that to the properties, shouldn't I be provided it?
Tom, you wanna
Mayor,
address?
if I could give you Mr. Rosenmeyer. So the maps currently are on the DEP site. I would think that, Sherry, do we have copies that could be made available to the public? I don't know what was said along the DEP. Yeah.
If anybody lives on the water, has property on the water, should know what's the change, like the differences, like the map from 2022 or the map from 2022.
I mean, Jeff, they're out there on the DEP's website right now as it relates to this specific township.
So each line block is, they have it.
Yeah.
Individual line block.
Yeah.
And how it's affected. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else on this ordinance?
Maureen Taylor Ford, Branch Street. Just to follow up on what was just said, my concern is I appreciate the fact that it's on the DEA website. What about the elder residents within the community that have no access to, internet, things of that nature? Is anything going to be done to reach out to that community of people within our township?
You want to
It's a
talk about
question.
availability?
Yes.
We can always work on a plan to do that.
But also usually if they intend to build something new,
New.
then they'll go to the construction office and then they'll be given these documents.
So existing residents are grandfathered in.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this ordinance? Okay, we closing the public portion. Let's bring it up for, we need a first.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-5 on second reading.
We have a second.
Closing the public?
We need a roll call?
Did anybody else have a question on this ordinance and this ordinance only?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That part's closed.
Thank you.
Bring
Ms.
up the roll
Astor?
call.
Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2024-5 has passed. Now, second ordinance we have, ordinance 2024-6. This is an ordinance authorizing the vacation of a portion of Bank Avenue, Greenwood Avenue, and an unnamed alleyway within the township for the purpose of furthering a development project proposed by Virtual Hospital. Now we open this to the public. Do you have anybody in the first row that has any questions about this particular ordinance? Second row?
Stonemeyer Way, 114 Branch Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Please provide more details about this particular ordinance. Thank you.
Yeah, so we do have representatives from Birchwood here today. Bob, would you like to come up and kind of give the public an overview of this particular ordinance? It might make it easier.
Certainly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to provide some additional information on that, Mr. Mayor. So the roadways that are the subject of the request for street vacation are within an area that is within a location of a project currently in the planning phase. We are excited to announce would be brought forward to enhance services to the community. And that would be involving construction of a new patient tower and associated parking over at the northeast area of the current campus. That would be a 136,000 square foot, 4-story building consisting of 64 private patient rooms and 10 new surgery and operating rooms with no proposed increase in the overall bed count of the hospital. So those roadways are currently within the project area and subsequent to vacation and for that property that are currently within the roadway areas to be incorporated within the project area, the roadways would be replaced by a newly constructed loop road that would be known as the Greenwood Loop Road that would connect Madison Avenue and South Avenues, which would improve and enhance both vehicular and pedestrian circulation. We are still in the design phase of the project. We're very excited about it, and would still have to go forward to the planning board, which we anticipate would happen later this year. But that is the basis for the request for the vacation of those two roadways.
Thank you. Based on Bob, what you described, does anybody have any additional questions in regards to that?
Thank you.
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street, Mount Holly. Just wondering, is the intersection of Madison and South going to be affected at all? Or just connections between the hospital parking lot and those areas? When you mentioned the loop road, that's why I asked.
So, I'll hold it down. So the way that the loop road would go around the campus is that it would connect at the intersection of where Cedar Street is, and then loop down towards south. So instead of having the zigzag that we currently have, it would just be one loop going down to south, which is far away from the Madison and South intersection. That stays the same.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and I probably should have added to that, it would be constructed in accordance with your standards for a public roadway. So once it is constructed, it would be dedicated as a publicly road to the township. Thank you.
Before, yeah, let's say, does anyone have any additional questions for Virgil? Okay, I'm seeing none, I'm closing that portion. Thank you guys for your time and explaining that. So let's bring this up for a motion. Can I get a first?
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-6.
We have a first, can I get a second? I'll second. We have a second, roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2024-6 has passed. Thank you guys. Thank you, Virgil, for coming by. Now we have a public hearing and adoption of the 2024 municipal budget. Now, this is open for public hearings here as well. So we have a resolution number 2024-67. It's a resolution to amend the 2024 budget. Josh, anything you want to highlight?
There'll be no tax increase for the 2024 budget. All services are expected to be maintained at their current level. Local revenue is up about $170,000. Grants are up around $1.5 million. And the local purpose tax decreased around $70,000. Salaries and wages increased below 2%. Debt service is up about 3.5%. Excluding the increase in grants, the budget is up around $130,000 from last year, mostly due to contractual increases and inflation. The average home pays about $1,600 in taxes for municipal service.
Okay. Now I'm gonna open up, after you heard Josh's, if you need to repeat, we'll ask him to repeat some of those things. I'm gonna open up for a public comment, starting with the first row. Anyone in the first row? Starting with the second row?
Thank you. Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street, Mount Holly. I would like to direct your attention to sheet 40B, because I'm confused. Because I had thought we bought the Bank of America building with $750,000 from UEZ money. I looked up the deed and the price of the property, which also appears to include the little drive-through across the street, to be $500,000. So I'm confused to see that the township is budgeting $930,000 for the current year for the building, including $330 in grants and $600 in debt. So that's my first question, where all that money is going to go. Second, I've heard rumors, I don't know if they're true, that the building is not necessarily usable because it's not handicapped accessible. I don't know whether that's true or not. Third, I think, and most importantly, is did we get bamboozled? We have a perfectly fine meeting room here. Why did we have to go purchase 10 Rancocas Road when we have a meeting room here that's functional, that all we need is a sound system for a few $100s? And is this a waste of money to do further? Should we look to sell the building rather than spend $1.3 million? And I don't know how much of that was UEZ money. I hope we could clarify that, because that could be used as a revolving loan fund for businesses, or much more than that. And so it just doesn't make sense with the reality of the situation that we have a meeting room here, and we're spending money on that building, and how much we've spent to buy it versus in 2021 versus where this money is in 2024 for $930,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
The township voted to bond $600,000 for the improvements of the building, along with $330,000 USDA grant, so that's going to complete improvements in the building. The second question is just not true. I'm not sure where you got it from. And the reason why we can't use this is that we also need to have a courtroom, and the courtroom was basically while we're doing the Bank of America building.
Correct.
And it works better than this building.
Right.
Can't hear you.
Just as a comment, I've seen many townships use buildings such as this for a courtroom. And I remember when I actually started in Chatsworth, they actually met at a high school cafeteria, which is certainly not appropriate. But certainly this doesn't seem inappropriate given most courts are virtual now.
Yeah,
So
obviously,
I
this
think
is
that's
a fire,
important.
it's a fire district, it's separate from the township, they're gracious enough to let us use this building in the meantime, so this is more for the fire district and their meetings. We definitely need a courthouse in Mount Holly, and that's the reason why we have to do it. Thank you. Anyone else?
Stone Laraway, 114 Branch Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. You said the taxes are not being increased. I'm concerned with the number of weed shops that are coming in. What about the revenues from that? No taxes increasing from that?
The weed shop started too late, so we can't anticipate their revenue this year. After we have a clearer idea of how much money they bought in, we can include it in next year budget.
How did that happen?
State law.
And what is the percentage that you're gonna put onto the weed shops of collection? How much?
It's 2% set by the state of their income.
Thank you.
That's all? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Come on, Louis.
Louis Lopez, 911. Thank you for the email, appreciate it. I went to 17th screen TV at work, I display everything.
Okay.
I say, how many you do that? I say, oh, I meant to one. I see everything and I appreciate it. First is any revenue from code enforcement, any fund from that point? And how much you getting for the MUA? That, you know, I would like to know that. And what's the percentage rate for the Mahoney Garden debt towards this budget? I would like to know that. That's the third.
All right, so you have three questions.
Yeah.
You're talking about how much in the budget is we get from what the MUA?
Yeah.
And you're talking about, the next question was, what the debt?
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement, you're talking about code enforcement?
Yeah.
And what's the third one again?
The third one for Mahoney Garden debt.
The debt, how much is the debt for the Mahoney Gardens?
Yeah.
In the budget for the.
Within the budget. Josh, you have something?
I believe the MUA is probably, we get maybe around 600,000, 550, 600,000 from them. Code enforcement's a little under 100,000. And the Gardens debt was before we even started, so that was $18 million.
So what's the, you know, how low is that the Mahoney Garden now?
We were paying some of the debt down, but it started out at $18 million.
All right. That's all the question I have. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Louis.
Louis.
Anyone else?
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. I see that we now have approximately 6.836 in total miscellaneous revenues, up from 559, which is a 1.3 million increase. Wonder where the extra 3.3 million.
Can you speak into the mic?
Okay. I'm looking at the total revenues now. Miscellaneous revenues is 6,836,000. It used to be 5,599,000. There's an increase of $1.3 million. I wonder where that money came from.
Mostly in grants.
It's in grants. And then I'm looking under some of the other things, the debt transfer, $750,000 at Levis Drive for flood. Is that?
That's a grant.
It's a grant for us. Was Fenmore responsible or anybody down there for the flooding and changing the grade when they built all those houses down there? Was that responsibility of the township? then I guess we have 900,000 for Green Acres and 500,000 for the New Jersey DEP. Is that new grants for the parks? Cause I remember we got up for $2 million before, a couple of years ago.
Additional grants, correct.
Which we finally used. The other question I have, and I've always asked this question, but I've never gotten a clear answer. Under miscellaneous other expenses, is there any way to find out what we're actually spending $230,000 on between the mayor and the municipal clerk in miscellaneous expenses? It's $250,000, and I asked when it was $100,000, and I could never get quite an answer. That was years ago.
Majority of the operations of the township could be in the copy, paper, could be.
Can you speak up, please? We can't hear you.
It's a combination of things that runs the township, so there's not just one thing, that's one thing.
But somehow we come up with this number, right? Because last year was $192,933. So there must be some sort of a trail as to what we spend it on. So if we wanted to check into it, make sure that, you know, we're in agreement with what's being spent on. It seems like a lot of money. I don't know what the miscellaneous expense papers and stuff like that, I don't know how we could get it to $250,000.
Josh, it probably includes the cost of inflation too, correct?
I mean, I'm not looking for non-paper stuff, but
I'm not sure exactly how.
you know, I don't know where it's going to or how it's going to, but I'm concerned. And I'd kind of like to know, because I asked about, well, we're going into something else, right? We're just doing the budget right now.
Correct.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else after that? Anyone else in that row or behind that?
Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. I'm not familiar with, too much of this. It's one of the first meetings I've come to that has a budget. I just wanted to see if someone can explain to me the part where it says, dedicated assessments, and it goes on to list like a bulk of information from animal control or federal aid for maintenance of libraries, recreation trust, there's a paragraph there. Can you explain to me what that means? Is the recreation trust things that I've been talking about, the recreation department, things that I've been talking about, the animal control as far as Mount Holly stands on feral, or in maintenance of libraries, like, I'm trying to understand that.
We don't have a library, so that wouldn't apply to us. The dedication, there's a trust fund for certain accounts, recreation is one of them, so as they raise money, there's a dedicated amount of money that can go towards recreation. Animal control, we pay $12,000 a year for, so I'm not sure.
Is a grant trust, or is a trust, like, how's the money come?
Well, it's based on money that we receive in for licenses, for dogs, and I'm not sure what else it's based on, but I know when I pay the bills for the animal control, I have to bill it to that trust account, so.
And that's where, for the animal control officers, I would assume that are signed here to Mount Holly?
That's for the animal control company that
we contract.
that we contract for Mount Holly.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Amber Koperbass, 100 Madison Avenue. I first have a couple questions that should be quick about the Virtual project. I was trying to pull up the map while they were talking, and
This is just the budget.
just the, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Save that for your public.
Okay, no problem. And I do have one budget question. I did notice about a 25% increase from last year to this year in the police salary budget. And are we hiring more officers, or is, like, that just seems like a pretty sizable increase, so I was just wondering what was contributing to that.
That's contracts, correct?
A lot of the money came out of, the American Rescue Act. We got a grant from the federal government.
Oh, okay.
COVID money.
Mhm.
That we put under the police items, but we no longer have that money, so that came out of the police item, so it's just, that money.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, so we used to get, yeah, got it. All right, makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Jennifer Musial, 9 Manor Terrace. I have 2 questions about the revenue section of the budget. The first one is, I noticed in the first line of the surplus that there's a sizable increase of over $300,000 into next year, and I'm wondering what accounts for that money that's the surplus that's going into next year's budget, and then I have a second question. I can ask both at the same time, or I can wait.
So the surplus was increased so that we didn't have to raise taxes. We will be getting some of that surplus money back with the addition of the medical marijuana revenue and also some pilots. So it's just, we couldn't anticipate them this year, but that'll come in as miscellaneous revenue and it'll make that number decrease.
Okay, actually, that leads into my second question, which is not necessarily itemized on the budget, but I'm just curious. How much money came in for dispensaries in town in this budget year that's closing out, and how much is anticipated for those specific businesses in the next fiscal year?
Last year it was, they were only open for like a month or two, so it wasn't a lot of money, so.
Can you speak up, please?
Last year, it wasn't open very long, so they were only maybe a couple of $1,000, maybe around $10,000. This year, I would anticipate probably between $130,000 and $150,000.
130 and 900?
130 and 150,000.
Okay, so
I wish it was not.
that's a big.
I'm judging for the
We
numbers
all
that are
wish it
coming
was
in.
that higher.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Amy Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. Are we still collecting vacant property fees? And if we are they in the budget as a revenue? And if it is, where would it be?
We still do collect them. They fall under the line item for. I believe it's, fines and costs.
Please speak up, please.
You said fines and costs?
Correct.
Fines and costs.
Thank you.
And you had in the budget, you had a, rent from Bill's Bargains for $40,000?
Yes, sir.
Oh, he's gone.
The pilot transferred over, so we're still getting $40,000 from the new owners.
You're getting $40,000 in rent from the new owner that you just sold it to, or gave it to?
Correct. So it's a lot.
So, is he renting it, or did he buy it?
The part of the pilot was $40,000 at a minimum.
So he's gonna pay every year $40,000 in taxes?
At a minimum, correct.
At a minimum. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
All right, anyone else want to comment on the budget? All right.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, as well as the public. My name is David Villata. I'm, one of 2 items. Last time I was here, I covered quite a few. So I'm gonna try to just limit it and try to focus it that way.
Is it just for the
This
budget?
is on the budget.
Oh, no, it's not the budget.
That's all we're speaking on right now.
It's always speaking
Oh,
right.
so it's not open?
Not,
Not
Okay.
yet.
it will be.
5 minutes.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to really read the budget, but
Okay,
okay.
is it okay to bring it up on the next meeting?
You can discuss
Okay,
it.
thank you so much. Thank you.
232 Rutland Avenue.
Hello? There you go. Richard Dow, 232 Rutland Avenue. A few questions. That's good. First off, on, there's no sheet right here. On this page right here, local tax levy and assessed values, it's showing here that the local tax rate is going, looks like it's saying it's going up 0.0001. What is that?
Repeat that.
Josh? It's going up, right? It's going down at one point.
No, it's not going up anything.
It stays flat.
So what's this change, 00, is it my eyes, or does it say change? 0001.
I'll see it's a 0.1%.
But it says change, right? 0001, that's something, it may be, you know, but if you take it and all add it up, it's gonna add up to a dime or whatever. So the bottom line though is if it goes up 0001, it's still a tax increase and not no increase. Are we on the same page? Okay.
Can you guys speak up? You know, the back room can't hear you.
Can we keep it? Okay.
Now, I did have some specific questions. Sheet 10, you have rent for 14 King Street at $40,000, and I thought we sold the properties on King Street. I'll list a couple just for sheet 10 right here. Pilot, 115,000 increase. It doesn't list any properties for a total of $240,000 in a pilot. It doesn't say from where. Pilot Regency Park, 200,000, and that's up from last year as well, 25,650. I just wanted some clarification on what that pilot income of 240,000 is. The pilot income from the Regency Park, why is there a pilot? Regency Park is an old development, and not only is it an old development that I wasn't aware still had a pilot, but this pilot is now going up 25,650, as well as the other pilot is, on that. So those would be three questions. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Are you gonna answer as questions come, or are we going to?
The Regency Park is the 100 apartment
The
building.
apartment building?
Yes.
That went into bankruptcy, you know?
That's still under a pilot.
Okay.
That consists of that, and it's based on occupancy.
So it's just that building?
Yes, correct. And there's probably a couple townhouses on Regency Drive across from them.
Okay. And the 200,000, 240,000, I'm sorry, that's just listed as a pilot.
That's basically the West Rand Cocos, when the townhouses come on, that we get pilot from them, so that's included.
Okay, there we go. Sheet 10N, there's a reserve for master plan of $15,513. What are we reserving for? What's that gonna be spent on that 15?
We had a reserve with master plan, and we're spending it to do the master plan this year, the reexamination.
So we're paying for what, the consultant, like a form-based code or something like that?
Paying for a planner to present it to the planning.
So it's the planning, planning cost. Yeah, I see that our state aid basically doubled. We pulled another 100 grand out of the MUA appropriations. It's nice to see that finally happen. I have a question with other, between page 4 and 14, and that's just what I looked at off the top of my head. So listed as other, from page 4 to 14, is $1,795,088. That's a hell of a lot of other. So what is all that other? What is any?
I'm assuming it's grants.
Okay, well.
I have to look at the pages.
Okay, yeah, I pretty much detailed it down, but we could easily go over that. But when I'm looking at nearly $2 million, that's $2 million just listed as other. So I wanted a little clarification on that. Another thing that I noticed was no capital improvements on this budget, which means we're not gonna pave roads for another year or do any other capital improvements.
Actually, we pay all our roads through grants, so I mean, we really haven't paid anything to do with the municipal.
Yeah, we haven't paved anything for forever. But,
Actually,
That's a lie.
You get that from?
actually, Bank of, I
You pay
mean,
every
the
summer.
water company and
okay,
PSEG.
yeah, I'm making a vague statement, let's just say my block in 33 years hasn't been paid, okay. So, you know, I could look around and we could go with that game if we wanted to, but plenty of time for that another day. Another thing, too many pages, you know, we have 6+ blank pages just right off the top. And we have, more than 8 pages that are just X's on the, you know, on the lines, like right here, unclassified is all X's. So, you know, I don't know, between the other and all the blank pages and the X's, you know, I would be looking for a more detailed budget. But the last thing that I have here is sheet 17, and that's unclassified celebration of public events, anniversary holidays, other expenses, 25,000. So just taking that one other expense, what would that be, the 25,000? What other expenses would
Goes
we?
to our 4th of July event, our Christmas event, or Oktoberfest, so it goes into the.
Okay, so that's the other. We went down from 45,000 last year to 25,000 this year, so at least it's a 20K reduction. But again, it keeps going to other, and what you just said somewhere could have been put in.
These are state budget forms. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
what the state tells me to give.
You know, I'm pretty clear. It's changed a little bit, but I'm still a little bit familiar. That's all I have, so, all right, you got it.
Anyone else after him? All right, I'm seeing none. The public portion for the 2024 adoption of the municipal budget is closed. Now we have 2 resolutions. We'll take them separately. Resolution 2024-67, can I get it first?
I'll make it first.
Hang on.
You have to read it.
It gets worse.
All right,
The amendment has to be read
that's right.
out loud before anybody votes on it. So, do you want to explain why?
Actually, a good thing. We underestimated the amount of state aid we got, so we're getting $7,500 more, which kind of decreases the amount to be raised by taxation. So that might be that point.
We're getting more money from state.
We get more money from the state now.
Right, so therefore, the original information we submitted had to be changed. Therefore, this is the amendment, changing those numbers, and it must be read out loud, so everyone, please bear with me. There's a lot of numbers here. Whereas the local municipal budget for the year 2024 was approved on the 13th of May, 2024. Whereas the public hearing on said budget has been held as advertised, and whereas it is desired to amend said approved budget, which does not require advertisement. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Township Council of the Township of Mount Holly, Burlington, that the following amendments to the approved budget of 2024 be made. General revenues. Miscellaneous revenues, section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations, energy receipt tax, aid to densely populated municipalities, from $1,529,028 to $1,536,639. Total section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations, from $1,687,000 to $1,687,419 to $1,695,030. Summary of revenues. Total section of A, local revenues, changes from $1,687,419 to $1,695,030. Total section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations. Total miscellaneous revenues is $6,836,118 to $1,843,729. Total general revenues, items 1, 2, and 3 is from $7,968,118 to $7,975,729. The local tax for municipal purposes, including reserve for uncollected taxes, goes from $5,762,631 to $5,755,020. Total amount to be raised by taxes for support of the municipal budget from $5,762,631 to $5,755,020. Total general revenues from $13,730,749 to $13,730,749. Be it further resolved that 2 certified copies of this resolution will be filed forthwith within the Office of the Director of Local Government Services for certification of the local municipal budget so amended.
Thank you, Sherry. For your patience with that.
May I request that we vote on these separately?
Yes, we will. So after Sherry read the amendment, now we have the resolution 2024-67 to amend the 2024 budget. Can we get first?
Do we vote on the budget first? and then-
No, you have to vote on the amendment first and then the budget.
Like I said, we have a first? Yes. We have a first. Second. We have a second from Mr. Brown. Roll call for just resolution only, 2024-67.
Ms. Astor? Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Abstain.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, 2024, the amendment has passed. So resolution 2024-64 is the resolution authorizing the adoption of the 2024 municipal budget.
I have a little information. If I can ask a few questions on the budget before we vote.
Hold on for a second.
Yep.
Does anyone ask any other questions of your own council? Has any questions of your own?
Just me? Okay. So, just that I'm clear, the only capital expenses that we've budgeted are, the ones that are both grant related. One is the work being done in the park, right? And then the other is the work being done to the new building. There's the only 2 capital expenditures we've had budgeted.
They're actually not in the actual budget, they're on the back end of the budget, so they're not budgeted for this year, we just have to include them over a 3-year plan.
Okay, so we don't actually haven't budgeted any capital investments at all?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Can I ask when, we do our budget hearings, when does this planning start? Do you do like department head hearings, or how do we?
Start in January.
In January?
Speak up, please.
Yep, in January, so they start talking to department heads to pull all the budget numbers together, or something? Where is the revenue from the construction, I think we talked about this a little earlier, the construction like fees, inspection fees, where does that pull up in the budget?
Construction is separate, construction has its own, is a UCC, so they collect their own money and spend their own money.
Okay,
Code enforcement is separate, that comes in like permits and fees and, fines and costs.
okay, fines and costs.
And fees and permits. Fees involved in those.
And do we receive a bed tax revenue from Virtua currently?
Correct.
We do, and where is that revenue?
Should be under the virtual line.
It's in, okay, that's what that is under, in Virtua?
Yes.
In Virtua. One more. Okay, Public Works with $80,000 for equipment? Right? So we don't-
That was last year.
Oh, that was from last year. We don't have anything in this year?
No.
Nothing. Again, no, we're not investing in anything for Public Works.
We have a truck coming, but it's 2 years behind, so hopefully it's coming.
Okay.
Hopefully they can go.
Food paid for already, so we don't have any. Okay.
Any other questions?
That's it for me.
All right, seeing there's no other questions from council. For resolution 2024-64, the adoption of the 2024 municipal budget, can I get a first?
Make a motion for first.
We have a first. Second. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Abstain.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-64 has passed. All right. So matters to be presented by the public. Now, this is the open public portion. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters and will choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments the appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and or concerns. All right, we'll start the same order. Let's go with the first row. Anyone in the first row? Skip at the first row. Let's start with the second row. Second row.
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Couple of things. First, I want to thank Main Street Mount Holly for putting on a fantastic car show this year. They did a great job. I also want to thank the police department, did a great job with traffic control. It was really an excellent day, and we had to turn cars away. It was really fantastic. And that organization deserves a lot of credit, number one. Number two, I didn't realize that because the BOA budget was on a 3-year plan, nothing's actually gonna be spent this year, and wonder when things are going to start moving on that since we purchased it in 2021. So it's already been 3 years. Number 3, there is an item on the agenda to approve a liquor application for Rancocas Creek Water LLC. And in doing some research, I see that the LLC is represented by Mr. Coleman, and I believe that's a conflict of interest because he was also the township attorney. And I think that with regard to Rancocas Creek Water, that should be withdrawn, and that the LLC should be retaining another attorney that would not be in conflict with the township council, because Mr. Coleman does represent. I do have the certificate of formation of Rancocas Creek Water that shows Mr. Coleman's their own attorney, and case law which indicates that I believe that is not appropriate. And so I think that should be withdrawn from approval until next month when they get a new attorney. Thank you. And I can give that to everybody and pass that up. I don't know, we can share you.
Mayor, I can address that. I did assist in forming that, whenever it was formed. I don't represent them, I believe, to the best of my knowledge. Sherry could confirm that they have their own counsel now that's dealing with their liquor license issues.
That is correct.
I don't have any
So,
representation.
Tom, you're saying there's no conflict, correct?
No.
Not representing anymore?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's the only information I have.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And what was the date of that, Mike?
6/6/23.
Okay.
Date is fixed for me.
Anyone else? Start with that second row.
Stoneware Way, 114 Branch Street. A couple things here. First, I would definitely commend the township on the auto show. It was a great show. There was a lot of great participation. It was great to see a lot of familiar faces. I'd also like to mention about Pride Month for June. It would be really nice to see a rainbow in a crosswalk. Perhaps maybe one day it will go all the way down High Street. That would be great. I'd like to see more emphasis on Pride for all LGBTQ plus. Let's see. I'd also like to mention about Black History Month. Banners along High Street with Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Nelson Mandela, Maya Angelou, Thurgood Marshall, and others, many others. I think that would be very important for us to show our respect for these great figures. They pioneered our country and shaped it. That would be really great to see if you could budget something for that and let us know ahead of time. Share this information with your constituents. And finally, I'd like to remind again the mayor that you're a public servant. And while all of us here identify ourselves with our first names, it'd be very nice if you could remember our names, because we're here just as much as you are, and we expect some level of decorum. So thank you for that.
Anyone else? And second row, one to third.
Good evening. My name is Louis Soper, 911 Drive. How's everybody doing? Good.
Thanks, Louis.
First is, how do we see any solar incentive program this year?
I'll repeat that, I'm sorry.
How do we see any solar incentive program?
Solar?
Solar incentive.
Solar incentive programs, do we have any? at the
Yeah.
township? They're all run by private companies, so we don't have anything.
You should have some. I mean, you see all the solar panel comes to phone pole, telephone.
That's KCNG.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
It's not
from
run-
the power company.
That's not run through the township.
That's not run through the township.
Oh, okay. But my second question is for the flood insurance, that event. I mean, what you were talking about this afternoon. Is it easy to get a flood insurance, or for everyone?
I'm sorry, repeat that last thing.
For the revolution, the flood.
Oh, resolution for the flood.
Yeah, it's easy to get flood?
You won't need flood insurance, Louis.
Oh, no?
No,
I don't think Relive Lewis is in the flood zone.
no, it's only changing a couple of different things. You will not require flood insurance where you'll be fine.
Oh, I want to just curious, that thing went over.
I'm sorry?
If we went over the creek, everything towards, people's driveway, it went all the way halfway.
Okay.
And what would happen if there was a major?
If you needed flood insurance, you would have been told that a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see more investment for the first floor of Mount Township. I'd like to see more, more open. And I think that's all the questions I have. And thanks everyone, for I got like 16 new subscribers, people really interested in seeing my YouTube videos. I just upload free information and let people know what's going on in my Mahali Township. I love, working here. I love coming to the township, walking. And I walk in the Mahali Trail at 4:30 in the morning. That's kind of, brave to do it, but thank you, appreciate it. Just a best place to live.
Thank you. Anyone else in that row? All right, moving on to the next row, take the fourth row.
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. I went to the township and asked about the Madden's Harbor deal, and I see you guys vote on it, there's a resolution. Before you guys vote on this deal, do we have a lawyer who sets up a contract that sets timelines to do things, what they have to do, what they can't do, and all these before we vote on giving away the property? And how do we determine what the property is worth or not worth? Because my concern is the township's has taken over a number of years, not this council, but other council, and purchased properties and taken properties and they gave them away to people who, I don't even know why they gave them to them or how they found them. And this LLC, have they done work in the community or around how many developments have they done in their past? Are they reliable to do things? I don't know. But it doesn't tell you anything, so I wanted to get the information of when it's supposed to be done. Is there a timeline? Because that'd be really important, because we purchased this property, I believe it was 200,000, Josh knows what the number is.
The redevelopment agreement is November 30th, 2026.
It has to be finished, the project by 2026.
November 30th, 2026, in the redevelopment agreement.
And we reached out to those owners too as well, so they should be providing us an update of what the timeline of what they completed so far.
Because like I said, my concern's always been the township's inability to sell properties for a profit or even a loss, involving realtors to try and sell the property and redevelop it. There was a property we took off the tax rolls, we bought for, I believe, $200,000. Josh knows the number, he's in charge of that. So we took it off the tax rolls for a number of years, so we got no tax revenue. I believe we fixed the roof, that was the reason why we took the property, to fix the roof. And then it went from 200,000 to zero, and it became no value, and yet we must have appraised it to, gave them 200,000. Somehow we had to come up with a number what it was worth to pay the guy to buy the property. And now we've got the bank, which has been 3 years taken off the tax rolls, so now we're not collecting whatever, 15, 20,000 a year, that's not getting revenue for the township. And I go back to question for the mayor, that we don't have any money, and we bought the stage for $183,000. And who's involved in that deal? Like, you said it was a state mandated program. Who's involved? Was it the UEZ, Main Street, Mill Race Village? Because they were trying to buy stages years ago, you know. So how do we, before we decide what we're gonna buy and where it's gonna be, do we have anybody else involved, or is just 3 people decide that we're gonna buy it, and then everybody agrees to do it? So.
That's your question?
Yeah, that's my question.
I believe you came to the last meeting, I think you know the answer to most of those questions. Right, so you know the stage was purchased through the UEZ.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, I think you know the details of the magnitude as well.
Yeah, but nobody
Am I
says.
correct?
Well, they said it was 183,000. Yeah, it's
We
correct.
already know the details of it.
We know the number, but I don't understand, nobody ever said, was it, you know, did you guys, okay, I guess, was it, last question, was Mill Race Village involved, Main Street or UEZ, in the purchase of the stage?
I think you would answer that question, thank you.
Rude. Rude.
I didn't hear the answer.
If I get more outbursts, I'm gonna ask you to leave, sir.
Okay,
Okay?
got it, clear.
You talked about decorum, please follow. Thank you.
You too, sir.
All right.
You're the man.
Next row.
Not yet, not yet.
Richard Dow, 232 Outland Avenue. I have a question regarding resolution 2024-65. It's releasing Fenimore Homes from their performance bond. And I don't think a lot of people, I can't speak for them, so I'll speak for myself. What exactly is performance bond? How long does it normally, does it last? A standard, as far as the regular time period, 5 years, 2 years, are we giving them, are we letting or closing this performance bond before it's timed, or no?
Pretty much, when we release bonds, right, Josh, or is when the work is pretty much completed, correct?
Mayor, can I handle this?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Dow, so this specific bond, I don't know how long it's been out there. It will stay there into perpetuity. There is no timeline on the bond until it takes the developer, in this case Fernwood, to finish those improvements. They asked to be released from this small bond. I think it's $29,000 was left on the bond. And our engineer, Limo Associates, did a thorough investigation at the developer's cost, and they recommended that the bond be released, the performance bond, and in its place, a 2-year maintenance bond to ensure that those improvements stay as is for the next 2 years.
So to be clear, so everyone knows, the performance bond is to guarantee that if the builder screws something up, we can take money from it to fix it? Or what?
No, that's the maintenance bond. The performance bond makes sure that the actual improvement gets built.
So it gets done.
Gets done.
It gets done.
And of all the bonds that they have, to skip forward, if you're gonna ask the next question, which I anticipate, this is the smallest of all the bonds that they have out there.
Actually, I wasn't gonna go there, but good try. I did have a question, kind of a piggyback off of what Louis was asking. he was talking about flood insurance. This bond is for the drainage of, it looks like Levis, where it hits this new road foundry. I was curious on how this location and what they were responsible for as far as drainage connects to that big project that's on Levis that has that, you know, you have a budget line item to do whatever the heck they're doing there, and I'm not quite sure. Do we have information on what they're actually doing there? Another retention pond, extending the drainage from this drainage that they're talking about here? Is it all tied together somehow?
It's all tied together somehow, but it's basically they increase the size of the pipe so that water can flow towards the creek, so that's hopefully stops some of the flooding in that area.
So this is to relieve some of that flooding by larger conduit from that retention pond and the street out to the creek. Oh, there we go. All right, thank you for your time.
Anyone else in, let's see, anyone else in the fourth row? All right, let's move to the next one.
Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. Happy Monday, right? Is it Monday? Just want to say it was a great family day, and it was a great car show. Thought it was awesome. Congratulations to our town. Moving along, first I want to ask, I called the township. I believe I spoke with you, Josh. I asked about the painting of the bathroom after our last meeting when Mr. Mayor said we can all volunteer to paint it. You said that was already spoke about. Do we have an ETA on when we're going to have the bathrooms painted at the summer camp?
It'll be done before summer camp. It was always planned to be done before summer camp, so it's either gonna happen at the end of this week or next week.
Okay. With that being said, the recreation programs, it's licensed through Burlington County. It is considered a real summer camp. We have a new recreation director now. Do we anticipate having any type of activities for special needs children? I have a great niece who's special needs that only goes to the Burlington County Service School half of the summer. The other half of the summer, her mother, my niece, is looking for childcare. So does our town, we have a lot of special needs children here in our town. Is our own summer recreation program going to have any activities for those children since we are licensed through the county? A lot of other programs that are licensed through the county do offer extended programs for special needs kids. So that's my question because it's personal to my family. My other question is back to my sidewalk issue. I spoke to the county and they said they're waiting for my township to interface with them. They said they're waiting on my township and they've been waiting and waiting. They haven't heard anything from my township.
Ms. Ford, can you just remind, what type of project you talking about?
This is the sidewalk issue that I had when, the sidewalk issue that was during the COVID. We worked that out, it was a long haul. We finally got the sidewalk put in on the Y at Branch and Garden. I live on Branch at the Y, across from Ashurst Mansion. So, whatever happened, Josh did whatever he needed to do, and we got a sidewalk put in. That's what my request was. I had requested a light. I requested transportation, I believe, survey. Okay, we went back and forth. It's been a couple of years now. Okay, I just went to another county meeting. Christine told me they haven't heard anything from my township. She said my township has to start the ball. The county is not just gonna come in here and say, tell Mount Holly what needs to be done. If I'm a Mount Holly resident, I need to interface with my township. So here we back to the same situation again, okay? I just wanna know what's going on, okay? Because we have to initiate the shared service agreement. It is a shared service agreement. So I don't know, okay? I'd like to know something. It's been a couple of years now, and I don't think it's fair.
All right,
Okay?
so you're talking about the sidewalk.
I'm talking about, the sidewalk is done already. They did that, I'm talking about the traffic,
The traffic?
the shared service agreement.
Well, there's no shared service agreement. They said that we had a request that they do a traffic study to see what access routes.
Yes.
And that's where we left it. I haven't received any communication yet.
So excuse me for going over, but you did request it already, because she's saying to me that she hasn't heard from my township.
We did
So then
request
that's, you see, it's her word against yours, I'm stuck
I
in the
requested the
middle.
county engineer, I don't know who you're talking about.
But Ms. Ford, we'll look into it and see what the status is. See what-
So what should I wait for my turnaround time, because it's been 2 years, Mr. Mayor.
I understand. We'll look into it, thank you.
Pierre Ford, 117 Branch Street. First off, I haven't been to the meetings in a long time. I like this, the way that it's stacked. So I just want to give you a compliment on that. Before, it wasn't, I didn't feel it was organized. This is organized, so give you props on that. My wife bust my bubble, because I was gonna say something about the park also, but,
Right, you can say.
no, I just wanted to know when we're gonna have somebody, to beautify, to get the beautification of the park for the camps. You said it'll be done before the camp, so. When is the camp, by the way?
This is second week in July, correct? Right after July 4th? July 8th.
Or 6th?
Okay,
It's 6 weeks, right?
okay,
6 weeks.
July 8th to August 6th.
okay. And is that then publicized for everybody to know as far as
For all Mount Holly residents.
yes. Okay. And the reason why I'm asking is because on part-time, I also deliver pizzas. And I see a lot of kids hanging out at these liquor stores, at these other stores that they shouldn't be there. They should be having somewhere to have some type of activity or something for them to stay out of trouble.
So one of the requirements is for the parents to sign them up. A kid can't sign themselves up. So
Okay.
the parents have to sign the kid up.
So-
And then the kid has to attend. It's voluntary at that point.
Okay.
You can't make them attend if they signed up or not. They come up when they want, they show up when they want to. And they can't just leave when they want to in that situation, but that's kind of how it's been managed. It's voluntary.
Okay. And could we, as a suggestion, maybe have some signs or something around the town stating about these camps, so then maybe individuals who don't go involved in their computers or whatever, they see it around the town?
I mean, that's a good point, but the only reason I say that is it has to be a Mount Holly resident. And by far, it can't be someone from West Hampton because it's totally free. The money we raise, some people try to skirt around that too. Right?
You
So
knew what I was
so
about
we
to
go
ask.
to the schools, and the people that know about the particular summer camp program, they know. And for individuals, so you try to limit that because also we had to control the numbers. You know, the last few years, we had well above the numbers anticipated. All right, so this year, I think we have close to 90-something registered so far.
Okay.
And normally, we get to the capacity of 110, 120, that's a lot.
Right.
Considering how many kids, from ages, I think, was it 7? Jim, was it 7 and 14?
6 to 14.
6 to 14.
And all the, flyer goes on with all the kids in school, so all our, school children and their parents are made aware of the program.
Okay.
So that's kind of why.
Okay. With that being said, if we're going to the schools to notify them about these camps, why can't we use like the senior students as community service to help around with the camps?
We do.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we hire students, and you get the youngest age we allow is 16, so, and then up to college.
Okay. Okay.
So you normally get the same returning ones back. We want the individuals to be at least 2 years removed from the youngest age, which is, or the oldest age is 14.
Okay.
So you have to be at least 16. So we normally have a few high school seniors, mostly young college individuals that know how to deal with it.
Okay, and I just want to make one more short comment. As far as this building is concerned, I get sort of irritated when I hear about us as a group have to ask somebody to use a building that's supposed to be used for the whole community. You know what I'm saying?
I do not. So what are you referring to?
I'm referring to as, everybody's saying this is the firehouse, okay? But we're Mount Holly. So if yes. I feel that if we spend all this money to get this beautiful building made, it should be given the opportunity for the community to be able to use it. And as far as our meetings right here, you know, Mike Laughlin was talking about we were spending some more money to fix that other building or something. We can use that money to do something else. We already have a nice building right here. Let's utilize this building right here, and then spread the money for something else that's more important. That's my comment.
Yeah, but this is not a township building.
And this building doesn't work for the court system. There's a whole process that the court has to approve the layout, the dimensions, and everything. And that's why certain buildings didn't work in our area. But the township building, the old courtroom that we used to use, flooded too many times. So we were just sinking money into fixing the building up every couple of years. So we looked for a different option. And we had to find something that worked within the court system.
Okay. And we found it.
We found that.
Okay.
So now
And that's why we're in the process of doing that.
Just trying to find
With that building, because that.
to build that. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You see? Yes.
Amber Coperbass, 100 Madison Avenue. So I just have a couple questions again about the virtual project. One, it sounded like from what the virtual representative said, and then a question in the budget, that they are taxed per bed. Is that okay? And that there's no increase in the beds, so their footprint is going to enlarge pretty sizably with no increase like revenue for the town.
It's capped at the 2020 number no matter what, so.
Okay.
Whatever beds they had in 2020 is the amount of the revenue that we receive.
Okay. And do we have, I know it hasn't even gone to the planning board yet, correct? Okay, because we are like we already voted to give them like the roads. Do we have like any sort of like timeline or like when it would begin, how long it would take?
Everything is roughly.
Yeah, certainly.
Estimated. So
I'm doing kitchen floors, it's rough.
They plan to come back sometime this year. They did say September, October-ish, possibly, to come to the planning board to submit their plan.
It's gonna be phases. There's gonna be phases. They need to take out some infrastructure under the areas where they're gonna put the new building, which would be the first process. Then they would come back and they looking probably about a 2-year project from start to finish with.
That's probably one phase.
With the when they start the construction of the building, they're looking about a two-year process.
So roughly
2026 is what.
Roughly 2026, 2028, possibly when they might be fully done.
Okay.
Starting in 2026.
Starting in 2026. So we don't know the exact time frame because things like
It's still
delayed,
pending.
things could be moved. So
Yeah.
right now, I would say it's a few years out.
Okay.
At this particular stage, but this is the planning stage for them.
Okay, thank you. And will they be doing like, because I know I'm on the corner of Cedar and Madison. This is my house that they're,
Right.
So, are they going to, with that change, will there be like a study with like a traffic pattern or anything? Like, since that road will then be coming out and
That'll be done.
Okay.
So when the
Okay.
planning board makes the announcement of when they come back, I would recommend that you come by and ask the same questions or more, since you are a resident that's gonna be in that particular area.
I'm sure you'll get notified because within the area of their
And that's
construction.
Within the 200-foot list, are they required to tell you when the
when the meeting would
When the
be, if
meeting,
it's
right.
gonna affect your address and all, so.
Okay,
you know, certified
great.
letter.
Yeah, the only thing I've received so far, and I know we're not to that point yet, I did get like an environmental, like consultancy agency or something.
Somebody do a
but-
study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, alright, I don't have that for now. Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Jennifer Musial, 9 Manor Terrace. I have one comment and then I'm gonna ask a quick question. And it's actually to follow up on my fellow residents' question or comment rather about Pride Month. So happy Pride Month to all who celebrate or recognize. I dream sometime of living in a town where there's a flag raising. I used to live in a town where there was a pride flag raised. It would be lovely to see that perhaps as early as next year. But I also have been thinking a lot about the loss of history that happens over time. And I've been thinking a lot about being a new resident here, the incredible Black history there is in our town, in Mount Holly and the surrounding area, and about the loss of that history, especially when it comes to buildings. So we know that there's the Pink House that was so important to the Underground Railway in this area that has been in derelict for clearly many years. And I think I can recall a previous conversation that it is in transition to perhaps a new developer. So there may be some, who knows what, with that house down the road. And then more recently, we can see what's happening with the African-American Soldiers Respite Home that's on Washington that was bought and is being redeveloped by the LLC. And so it would be lovely to see some money put into actually documenting this history and preserving it. I know that there are certainly grants that are possible within that realm. Certainly there's some new dispensary money that's coming in. Even a fraction of that money would be amazing. A committee could be struck to begin to kind of look at the historical records and bring forth some of that information so we know about what could be preserved, what plaques could be put across town, even as a kind of a minor thing. Reconstituting the Historical Commission, which I sort of recall has also been on pause for a while, would be another place of bringing in people towards that effort. And I work at a university in North Jersey, so I know that there are amazing partnerships that can happen between local higher ed institutions and towns. I work in that, kind of in those intersections in my job where I have had my class work with city councilors to do really cool civic engagement projects. So I say all this to say that this kinds of initiatives feel like a lot for a town that's already resource stretched or personnel stretched, but it doesn't have to be just the people in this room who are doing that work. There's in fact a lot of people who probably would like to participate in that. I just think it would be lovely to see the town put as much effort into documenting its Black history as it does its Revolutionary War history. So that's just a piece that has been on my mind for a while that I wanted to share. But my question was procedural. So I was just wondering about the procedure of voting on the virtual decision here today being made before it goes to the planning board. Is that typically how it happens, that council decides before it goes to planning, before there's even been like plans brought to the planning board? That felt kind of backwards to me, so I wanted to ask about the procedure of that.
This was just to vacate the streets that, they already own all the property around the streets, so they were vacating the streets to say that they're overtaking. So it's happening in the correct procedure because now they have all the land, they can go forward with the plan to develop.
And so if I'm understanding correctly, then as the plans develop, they will continue to come back to this board to be decided upon. Okay, thank you.
Are we seeing any more? We have one gentleman in the back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience. I knew I should have done early because as I sat there, I got more and more questions. So I'm kind of sorry, I tried to rush it early. Oh, sure, thank you. David Villalba, 166 Macomb Road. Thank you. Quick question, just being mine. I was reading an article that there was a police station in Newport, someone had mentioned a flood that had taken place. Don't we need that flood is building mold and building things that could hurt the courts and the people in it, the police and the council people. Are there any plans to build a new police station location? I understand 14th Key Street was an idea for it.
There are no plans to build a new police station.
But there was an article I read that 14 Key Street was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'll try to get the article and bring it in. So there's no plan, so you're gonna let the flood exist with the people there, whatever harm occurs there.
So,
We moved the police up to the second floor so it doesn't flood. The reason why we're building the new courtroom, municipal chambers is because of that.
But what about the rest of the people in the building?
We're on the second.
they're on
floor.
second floor.
Okay, my understanding is it's still can, but that's fine. You have no concern about it, and that won't even item.
And I'll just address the one point that
Go ahead.
you raised. There was a mold remediation company that was
Uh-huh.
retained to come in and certify that.
So there's no flood at all that happens there at all?
Excuse me?
I believe flood can come, mold can come back.
Flood can happen at any time.
Right, so that means mold
It
can
happened
come back
twice
at any time.
in a matter of 5 years.
Right, okay. And what about a community center? Is there any plans to build a community center for the seniors, the people, and all of us to kind of meet at our own
Not at this
discretion? None?
Not at this time.
Okay. One thing, some people have mentioned about the Manton hardware stores, I was doing some research. I noticed that it's, Manton hardware store on the location on the tax bill, which is right here. It has, accumulating equity, Partners Urban Renewal, and their address, the mailing address is 16 Mill Street, which is the building next to them. And it's like, look here, they haven't paid the taxes since 5/16 because the town owned it, and now they're doing, but as I researched before, I was able to find them, LLC and a website. They no longer have the website up, and luckily I took screenshots, and the gentleman that was there on the website isn't there anymore. I had called him and in front of witnesses, and he had said he owned it. So I have
Do
another
you have a
paper
name, do you
here.
have a name of that gentleman?
I'll work something, I don't have it with me right now, but I will. And the corporation is Mount Holly, let's put that there. Mount Holly Corporation. But those buildings were sold for $1, and my understanding is that the taxes on them aren't, so for example, the building on 14 Key Street, 38, block 38-1, it doesn't have any taxes for the next 20 years. You did an agreement? Okay, so, and I believe the attorney mentioned 2026, giving them time for Manton, for Manton to have something going on.
To be completed is November 30th, 2026 is in the redevelopment phase.
Is that usually the case? You give them 2 years, 2.5 years?
All redevelopment agreements are different.
Okay.
Speak up.
How can I find the development agreement? Where can I get that?
You can put
Can I Oprah?
Yeah, you can put a note.
And you would actually get it to me? Is there a specific way to mention that?
Is that a question?
That is a question.
You can put in an open request for the agreement and our custodian of public records will get it to you. You can
Okay.
read it. You can read it.
Okay, that's fine, I appreciate that. The other major concern was, it's a shame that we're not using the theater and that area there with the buildings. Winziger's area, we should really utilize that and help them and work with them to try to get something going there. You know, that's for the community and the people. Maybe we can do a community center there to work with them. That's an idea, I'm just throwing that out there. The other idea that, I wanna throw out quick and see if anyone is interested is block captains. Maybe block captains and, neighborhood cleanups.
David.
Yes, sir.
Your time is up.
I appreciate it, thank you for the time, thank you. I appreciate it, thank you so much.
No problem. Does anyone else have any comments? All right, we closing the public portion. Thank you for your comments. All right, so we have another resolution. So we have a resolution consideration by council. This is resolution 2024-63. This is a resolution appointing a judge of the municipal court.
I'd like to make a motion
Would you like to make a motion? Okay.
to appoint Stacy Salazar as municipal court judge.
All right, we have a motion to appoint Stacy Salazar.
Whoa.
Schlosser.
My apologies.
That's okay.
Mispronounced it.
Can we question this?
All right. We have a first for Stacy. Do we have a second? Did you guys have Okay. All right, so we have a first and a second, and we get a roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, the appointing of a new judge, Stacy Schlosser, has been appointed for our municipal court. All right, consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by council and will be enacted in one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Is anything you want to remove and vote on separately?
Yes.
A and B. Anything else? All right, we'll take resolutions C, D, and E. Resolution 2024-68. The approval of the bill list and the approval of the department head reports in one motion.
Make a motion to read this, or to approve the consent agenda as read by mayor.
We have a first. We already have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, resolution number 2024-68. Approval of the bill list and the department head reports have been approved. So now let's vote on separately resolutions number 2024-62. Resolution authorizing renewal of liquor license for the term of July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025.
I have a point of information.
Okay.
Is it possible to, because there's a whole bunch of different businesses that are listed all together, is it possible to vote on
Each one separately?
each one separately?
I don't think so. Right?
Yeah, only because I know Mike Rothwell brought it up, and I had actually noticed that myself, I had seen that, actually.
Let's refer to Tom.
Okay.
Is that, Tara, is there a question in there?
Well, yeah,
She wants to pull out one of, I guess, one of the
yeah,
businesses.
well, I have a question, I mean, like, you can tell me whether I can pull it or not, because it actually is very relevant to what Mr. Rothwell brought up. Because I had noticed that original LLC transfer in the Berlin County Times, and it was, like, every other liquor license is for an established business in the town, but there's the one, for, Ranco's Creek Water and One Harold Avenue, which is not a business, I had no idea. The original.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I just, maybe I can explain a little bit. That was formerly held by someone who owned the Italian restaurant that was on Route 38 years ago.
Yeah, I did,
It was called an in-pocket license, so it wasn't in service, and then it was sold from the person who held it and didn't use it
MTC
to
Brands LLC.
the person who bought it and right now is not using it.
Okay, but the original, like, we voted on that liquor license transfer, and Ranco's Creek Water was registered to Erie 22 Washington Street, but on the agenda for all the liquor license, it says, One Harold Avenue, and that's not where, that's not the original liquor license transfer address.
That's the address that's on the liquor license application paperwork.
The owner of the license.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Mary Carty, I didn't know Mary Carty was interested in opening a restaurant, because that wasn't the address and person who we voted on for the original transfer from one to the other, so just threw me there, but okay. Yeah, I'd like to vote on it separately if it's possible.
Was just for that particular license?
Yes.
Pull that one off, I'll put it on a separate
So
resolution.
it's gonna have to be a separate resolution, so Mayor, you're gonna need a motion to amend the agenda, to add a only one you'd like to vote on separately?
Sure, or I could just say.
And Mike, I just realized Skip Rial is their attorney. Skip, and you, I'll copy it. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, that's fine. You wanna do that?
I'll make a motion to amend.
Make a motion? So we have a motion, we have a first to amend the agenda for only this resolution 2024-62 for that one particular business, correct? So we have a first, let's get a second.
Second.
We have a second. All right, so we have a motion to amend the agenda.
So, and
That's
these are for the approval of all of them except
for that one.
It's gonna be on its own resolution.
Right. So-
There's 7 of them on this resolution, there's 2 of them on, sorry, I think there's 8 each. This other, the one we already voted on 68, I had to add them last minute, and rather than change the original resolution, I just voted another one.
Okay,
So I'll
so
do the
7
same thing again with this.
The same thing, okay, so we just have to add
It's gonna be 2024-70.
dash 70. So before we get to that, we need a roll call on this particular motion 6-2, right? 2024, I mean a roll call on 2024-62.
Well, we need a first and second.
We already had, we had a first, we get to go, we need a roll call to finalize the amendment.
Yeah, we amended it down, right.
And then we need to do that separately.
For all of this.
Okay, so just do a roll call for the amendment.
Okay, to amend the agenda. Ms. Astor? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we have that motion to amend, said agenda, to amend the agenda. So now, we'll vote on 2024-62 for the remaining licenses minus the one we wanna pull out, which is Ranco's Creek Water LLC. We'll vote on that separately as resolutions number 2024-70. Got it. All right. Can we get a motion for 2024-62?
So moved.
We have a first. Second. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so let's do this in numerical order. I'm gonna do 65. So we have resolution 2024-65. It's a resolution authorizing the release of the performance bond for Fernmore Homes, KMS Development Partners, LP, concerning the stormwater facilities in Foundry Boulevard and Levish Drive. Can we get a first?
I'll make it first.
We have a first. Second? I'll make a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor? Abstain. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus? No. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, resolution 2024-65 has passed. So now we move on to resolution 2024-70. This is to vote on the Ranco's the renewal of the license for Ranco's Creek Water LLC only. So we have a first.
Sorry, motion.
So we have a first, we have a second. Do you have a second? Second. All right, second. Mr. Brown. Nope, you already have first. So resolution number 2024-70. Roll call.
Ms. Astor? Abstain. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus? No. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, resolution 2024-70 has passed. All right, that's the end of the consent agenda. Hold on, ladies, we're not done yet. Any matters presented by the township manager? Nothing at this time? All right. Township solicitor.
Thank you, Mayor, nothing further.
Good, thank you. All right, matters presented by council. Mrs. Burks.
Just a couple quick things. I hear that Mount Holly Day was a great success, thanks to all the volunteers and everybody that pulled that off. I wasn't able to make it, but I saw pictures, it looked like a great time. Thanks to the Mount Holly Police and the Public Works and all the volunteers who pulled off the car show, and of course Main Street Holly. For the car show, it was, I think, the biggest year ever. I think we registered 300 cars and turned away, I don't know how many dozens. So thanks to Mother Nature for the beautiful day, and to all the volunteers for making that a wonderful day. Congratulations to our new sergeant, and thanks for everybody for coming out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Astor?
Yes, congratulations to our new sergeant. Car show was awesome. The holiday was great. I was there. Trying to go through all my notes. For those who spoke about Pride Day, I don't talk about it much, but I am a member of the LGBT community. Mill Race is having a Pride Fest, Pride Day extravaganza, Saturday, June 15th, 11 a.m. to 4. There'll be performances and vendors and all kinds of fun stuff, and I will be there. Let's see. In regards to the comment about our history, I do agree with you very strongly. I think having a historic commission and just working to preserve our history. I know Kim had said once, being a part of Main Street, we were told that there are 3 things that make Mount Holly very special. And it's our downtown, our creek, and our history. We have so much history here. I remember when I was a teenager, I was an exchange student to Italy through the Rotary Club, and one of the things I had to do was take photos and get them put on slides to do a slideshow for the Rotary Club in Pisa, Italy. And it was really cool because we have a lot of really neat history here. Just, beautiful buildings, you see the little things, like there are still boot scrapers and posts where people would put their horses, and I think that anything we can do to preserve some of our beautiful historic buildings instead of just letting them fall into disrepair and having them get, bought up by developers and just devoid of history. I know the house at the cemetery, it breaks my heart to see it the way it is, so I think that's a continuing conversation we can have as community members and see what we can do moving forward, because there's a lot of grant money out there. And then in regards to community center, I have heard that so many times. It's something, Kim and I have talked about. When I was little growing up here, we had a community center. It used to be on Brainerd Street in the old high school, so I had my first Brownie meeting. And then when that building got demolished, they moved it to the Heller School, which was the elementary school across from Holbein. And I took classes, my neighbor taught aerobics, and you could just go and take all kinds of classes, and I spent a lot of time there. And I think that is something that, kids need some place to go, and retired elderly people who urgently just want to go and, have a place to meet up and, have a knitting session with your friends or whatever. So that's a continued conversation that I would love to have. I think it's something that we really need, and if you really want something, I think we can make it happen. And I could go on and on, but thank you for coming. I love seeing a full room. The whole point of doing this is that we represent you, and we don't always know everything. We don't know what's going on, and we don't have all the answers. I'm just one of you people, and the rest of us as well that got elected, and the more people that come, you give us an idea of what's going on and what your concerns are, so that you can have that inner consciousness. I don't think anyone who's an elected official should just walk in and here's what I have to do. You should always be willing to have an open mind and evolve and, look at things from a different perspective when you hear different perspectives. It would be sad to come here and have no one. And I've been to council meetings in years past where I was the only person there, or maybe 2 or 3 other people. And this is important because you're a part of this whole thing. So thank you for coming. And
Here.
have a good summer. We'll be back in July.
Thank you, Ms. Astor. Mr. Brown?
Yes, so on the 22nd of June, we're gonna have our senior citizen picnic. It's gonna be up at the Veterans Park, Everything's free, gonna have a band with, just be sure to bring your chairs with you. Okay, but, get the word out to all the senior citizens if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Excuse me. 2 p.m. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, just real short. Just wanted to say thank you to the township manager and all the employees that worked very tirelessly and hard on this budget. It's nice to know that we have employees that really care and they listen, especially in times like this, you know, where it seems like the cost of everything is rising, and we're able to ease our residents' minds to keeping a flat tax rate. So please let the rest of the staff know that I do appreciate it. It makes my job sitting up here a lot easier. So I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So I'll finish up. I'd like to thank Sergeant Kapulskey and his family for his promotion. Well-dedicated employee. And, you know, for all that showed up from our holiday a few weeks ago, appreciate that as well. Trying to bring that back. That's something that we've been working on for a while. Thanks for all the volunteers for the car show as well. We have a lot of this in town. We have a lot of groups that like to put things together along with the council and along with our residents. It makes this town very special in regards to that. And we really appreciate all the efforts that people put into for this town. And, you know, for you guys that have a lot of questions and come to the council meeting, we try to give you as much answers as best as we can. For the most part, and we try to do that. You know, we're still a work in progress, and we're getting there. But we appreciate you, and I think that is it. We see everyone. Next month will be at the July 4th is the next big one. So I'm pretty sure if you guys don't have any travel plans, you guys will be there for the fireworks. So we'll be doing that on July 3rd, and hopefully we get good weather there this time. I know the last few years it's been